and welcome to Debbie's Rusty Brush. If you haven't been here before, I do a bunch of stuff on this channel. Most of it's painting, but I do some home improvements, and I do some upcycling, I do some thrifting and some thrift hauls. So I do a whole bunch of stuff, but what I enjoy most of all is the painting. So what we're doing tonight is we're going to be painting a nativity, and I really like these rustic little paintings. They make great shelf setters. They're on 1.5-inch canvas, and I do these with mostly a palette knife, but the people I do with a brush and the sheep. And so this is another one that I have done. I try to make them all a little bit different. So the sky in this one and to this one is different. The stars are different. And because they are hand painted, they're never going to be exactly the same. So this is what we're going to be doing today, and I hope that you enjoy it. I will speed it up so that you don't have to sit and watch for a long time, but you get to see all the steps, and I'll give a voiceover as I go so that you know what I'm doing at each step. All right, if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Hit the little bell so you get notified anytime I upload a video, and if you could, share it with your friends so that hopefully if they enjoy these kind of videos that they can come and watch as well. All right, thank you, and you guys enjoy the video. All right, so we're gonna start by layering in some water lily. Then we're gonna add a little bit of kissing booth, and we'll put some bohemian blue on top of that. And we're just gonna layer this on. And I'm not doing where the manger is going to be, just where the sky is gonna be. And I'm gonna dry it till it's just tacky. And then I'm taking a paper towel and just blotting it, and that brings through the colors that are underneath the bohemian blue so that you get a nice mixture of all of them. Now I'm just taking some bohemian blue and taking right around the edges to darken those edges. I just like the look of that. That step doesn't need to be done. I just enjoy it. All right, so now I've got some prairie gray, and I'm just putting in the bases of our barn area, the creche, and I'm just putting in the bases, and then we're going to go ahead and take some sandy blonde and put in the back area to finish off getting a base coat on the entire canvas. All right, so now I'm just adding in some white, and I'll be adding in some prairie gray, and that just adds some highlights and some shadows in the base there. And then we're just going to clean up the edges where I kind of went over what I'd already put in. Okay, so now I'm just taking some layered chocolate and I'm adding in the dimension and the detail into the creche area. It gives some wood grain in there and a little bit of interest going on. Now I did do this painting live on my Facebook channel, so I did not edit out the drying process. When I dry on this, I don't go to a full dry state, I just get it tacky. Now I've got some queen bee, and I'm just putting in a little area at the bottom there to represent straw and hay. And I'm going to use queen bee and cake batter. And then I'm going to also take a little bit of prairie gray and add in there as well, just so that we have the shadow and the highlight. So now we're switching over to the brush, and I've got a combination of Prairie Gray and layered chocolate. I'm starting with the layered chocolate. We'll move into some Prairie Gray to give that little rustic cradle a little bit of dimension and interest so that it's not just flat on there. And I am using a brush now for everything that is going on inside. And I'm just adding a little bit of straw into the cradle there that's in the manger, and adding a little bit more straw around the legs so that it sets into the straw there. And now I'm just going to go through and put an outline in of where I want Mary kneeling. And so I'm just putting the outline in at this point. All right, so now I'm filling in a bit with some different colors. I've got French millinery and some of the water lily. And then I'm putting white in for her garment there underneath her shawl. And we're adding in some hair here. Now her skin tone I did put in using some sandy blonde and some cowgirl coral mixed together, and a little bit of prairie gray. And you just mix it, whatever paint you're using, until you get a color that you like. Now that I've got the hair in, I'm just taking the colors that I did her garments with, and I'm making sure that I've got full coverage on there. And then I'm putting in her holding baby Jesus there. I'm just putting in the swaddling clothes, and then just a little faceless face, and getting her arms and her hands in there holding the baby. And then what we'll do is we'll take some of that chocolate brown and go in and detail some areas so that it stands out that these are her arms, and this is her versus the background. And this is just a rustic little painting, so you don't have to be meticulous with it, but you do want to be able to see the folds in her clothing and see the outline of her. All right, and so now I'm starting on Joseph, and I'm starting with Joseph's clothing, and just getting the shape of him in there, where his shoulders are going to go, where his robe is going. And then we'll go in and we'll take that flesh color and put in a faceless face. But we want to get the proportions here on his body somewhat put in and know where things are going before we move on up into his head and his neck. And so now we're putting that in there and adding hair, and we'll be adding the hair and the beard and the mustache to his faceless face, and he'll start to take shape at that point. Now with this, if you get a little carried away with his hair or his beard, you can go in and add a little bit more of the flesh tone, and same if you get too much flesh tone and you want to add more hair. Now here I'm doing the same thing. I'm taking the darker brown color and I'm putting in the detail so that we have where his arms are, his sheep herder's staff there, and just kind of doing some delineation, which you see better up close, to see where his hands and his robe and the folds and things are in the painting. And now we're just going to go in and add our sheep, and that is just a matter of putting the face in and the ears, so just in black, and then going in and putting the white in around that and bringing it down the back. Now I'm not
fully doing this sheep because the little baby sheep's going to be in front, and we're doing the same thing here. He's only got one eye and one ear and his face because he is standing looking towards the cradle, and so I fill in with his body there, and then I'm just taking some gray and putting into the mama sheep so that you have a definition between her and the baby. And it adds the shadow where the baby is reflecting onto mama sheep. And then we're just taking some black and putting in the legs. And so we've got mama's legs and then baby's legs in there. And then we'll take a little bit of our straw color and get those legs nestled down into the straw. Now it's just time to finish up the little details that you need to finish, and then add the star. And for the star, I just did it in white, and then I'm going over it with a gold color so that it has some brilliance to it. If you don't put the white under there, it doesn't show up quite as much. All right, and here is our finished painting. And like I said, you just play back and forth until you get the dimensions and the colors the way that you want them. Again, if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, let me have any comments that you have or anything that you would like to see me attempt to paint, and we'll see what we can do about that. Share this with your friends, and I thank you a whole bunch for sticking around and watching this video. All right, you guys have a great week, and we'll be back with another video next Thursday.